Meanwhile, welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Here are the latest news and reports. First one on the ambitious $1 billion fisheries export target and threat to fisheries. And another report on the 16th Funfair intended for children with cancer. Before we get to the reports, why don't we have a look at what's happening in local news. State Councillor and Union Minister for Foreign Affairs Aung San Suu Kyi received Mr. Yamaguchi Natsuo, the Upper House MP and the chief representative of Komeito Party, which is a partner of the current coalition government, at her residence in Yangon on Monday. During the meeting, the delegation, accompanied by Japanese ambassador to Myanmar, Mr. Ichiro Maruyama, held talks on promotion of bilateral relations, business and investment, tourism, infrastructure development, future socio-economic development programs for Myanmar, assistance for peace, national reconciliation and democratic transitions of Myanmar, and developments in Rakhine State. The 6th graduation ceremony of Women Army Cadets took place at the Officer Training School in Mobi, Yangon region on Monday, where the Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services, Senior General May Aung Hlaing, delivered a speech. The Senior General said they opened the Women Army Cadet Training course in order to offer inclusive opportunities for women to serve in defending the nation. He said female soldiers are trained to have equal duties and positions with male soldiers in serving the nation, all part of modernizing the Damodar. The Senior General also said women have always played important roles in successive generations and have caught up with men to shine in areas such as social affairs, business, politics, and even astrophysics. He urged the cadets to uphold traditions and dutifully fulfill tasks assigned for the Damodar and the nation, and urged them to continually improve themselves and become a source of strength for the Damodar and the country. Union Minister for Construction U Han-zaw inspected the upgrading process of the Yangon-Batain Road, Yangon Region's site, on Monday. Concerned officials explained action plans for upgrading the Yangon-Batain Road, future plans, producing road layer designs, and quality maintenance. The Union Minister responded and said the Yangon-Batain Highway is an important road and quality maintenance team need to supervise carefully since it is difficult to repair concrete roads when they get damaged. The bridge will become an important landmark for Batain, assist in local regional development, and offer a faster route to beaches such as Ngui Saun, Changda, and Shui Taoyan, and to ALD region and Rakhine State's coastal roads. The Ministry of Information organized the second Media and Information Literacy course at the MRTV in Yangon. Deputy Minister for Information Uwang Latun made an opening remark on Monday. He said the speedy development of digital technologies have promoted lifestyles of people across the world, and common people are searching for information and entertainment programs on mobile phones, which have amounted to 120% of the country's population. The Deputy Minister also emphasized the importance of media and information literacy in scrutinizing fake news, rumors, hate speech, and false information, adding that the course is intended to help MRTV staff understand accountability and responsibility in using the internet. The Myanmar Railways will operate a special train between Yangon and Bagan during the Christmas holidays, according to the No. 7 divisions of Myanmar Railways. The Yangon-Bagan special train will start from Wednesday and will leave Yangon Central Railway Station at 2:15 p.m. and arrive in Bagan at 9 a.m. on Thursday. Sale of tickets for upper class and ordinary class have started from Monday, and the tickets will be priced at 12,000 kyats for upper class and 4,500 kyats for ordinary class. That's all the local news, and here's the first report on Myanmar Today. Myanmar is ambitious that fisheries product export in 2020 will hit $1 billion. Myanmar recently made progress to expand its export market of farmed fish to the EU market, which is expected to add to the export trade volume. However, challenges prevail in sustaining the fish species in Myanmar waters. For more on the challenges, threats, and opportunities for Myanmar fisheries sector, Agacho has the details.
The joint research by Myanmar and Norwegian scientists showed that 80% of the fish resources inhabiting Myanmar surface waters dropped over the past 4 decades. To tackle the alarming decline in fish resources, the government imposed a 3-month ban on all offshore fishing. Myanmar Fishery Product Processor and Exports Association (MPEA) claimed the 3-month expansion effort helps the fish resource decline recovery. This was said at the annual plenary meeting of MPEA on Thursday at International Business Center. Chairman of MPEA, Utong A, explained more on the 3-month offshore fishing ban and its impact.
The joint research by scientists from Myanmar and Norway committed that decline of fish population in Myanmar waters. So, with the supervision of Department of Fisheries, the 3-month suspension of fishing was implemented. This is to recover the resource decline. This started since last year and we witnessed it works. So after the fishing ban period, the fish resources have increased. It is learned. And another important thing is that we need to farm the fish, as natural resources like wild fish are limited and fisheries breeding is crucial as it generates 80 to 90% of the income.
Despite the threat to the fish resource, Myanmar fisheries sector and trade has seen growth. In 2018 and 2019 fiscal year, Myanmar's fisheries product export generated over $728 million. With this progress, the MPEA is ambitious that it is expected to export $1 billion worth of the fishery product to the world market in 2020. However, Myanmar fisheries export has seen a substantial loss due to Saudi Arabia's ban on Myanmar fish since April 2018. Myanmar and Saudi are discussing to resume fish trade after systematic inspection. DJ Henry Zin, Deputy Director General of the Department of Fisheries, said,
Saudi Arabia imported 20,000 tons of Myanmar fishery products from Myanmar every year. In 2018, Saudi banned Myanmar fishery products. Myanmar went and discussed with Saudi's FDA and concerned bodies. Now Myanmar has been working on the checklist that Saudi demands, and soon we will be able to resume the marine product exports.
Myanmar has been importing wild fish to international markets, including EU. There are more than 120 cold storage facilities in Myanmar, of which 23 have been permitted to export fish caught in the wild to the EU. Out of 28 member states of EU, Myanmar now exports wild fish to the UK, Italy, France, Cyprus, Netherlands, Sweden, Greece, Belgium, and Germany. Ministry of Commerce's Permanent Secretary Wu also said,
Although we have a big pool of resources in geography and natural resources, trade volume is still small. So to boost export, we strive to implement the National Export Strategy since 2014. With the help of International Trade Center, the 5-year strategy was implemented. Fisheries sector is one of the top sectors in export promotion plan. It's been 3 consecutive years that Netherlands helped Myanmar with participating in seafood export to expand to EU market. GIZ also gives assistance. There is demand from EU and international market, and what's important is Myanmar is trying to produce to meet the demand.
Recently, EU approved the farmed fish import from Myanmar, which will be a substantial boost to the Myanmar fisheries sector. Currently, Myanmar exports farmed fish and fisheries products to 25 factories in EU. Also, U.S. market buys Myanmar farmed fish for the time being, with plans underway to export the wild fish. This is Agajo reporting for Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on the ambitious $1 billion fisheries export target and threat to fisheries. Alright, it's time now to check on the weather forecast in Myanmar. It's going to be a sunny day in Yangon, but the air quality will be unhealthy for sensitive groups during the day. Expect highest temperatures of 33 degrees Celsius and the lowest of 16 degrees Celsius. In Naypyidaw, it's a beautiful weather with some clouds and sun during the day. Expect highest temperature of 30 degrees Celsius and the lowest of 13 degrees Celsius. It's a pleasant weather in Mandalay with some clouds and sun during the day. Expect highest temperature of 30 degrees Celsius and the lowest of 14 degrees Celsius. Well, we have another report coming up, and then we'll check on the stocks and currency exchange rates. The 16th Funfair, intended for children with cancer, was held at Hemato-Oncology Unit of newly extended building of Yangon Children's Hospital last Friday, with a good notion that children suffering from cancer coming to the hospital daily for receiving several medical treatments should not consider the hospital as a place of panic. The YCH organized the Fun Fair meant for children who have to be put on cancer drip in particular, and more than 500 participants, including outside children and their parents, apart from the children suffering from cancer, took part in the event. Yanai reports.
All right, everybody, let's get ready to more.
The 16th Funfair, intended for children with cancer, was held at Hemato-Oncology Unit of new extended building of Yangon Children's Hospital, Halpin, in Yangon region on 20th December, with a good notion that the children suffering from cancer coming to hospital daily for receiving several medical treatments should not consider the hospital as a place of panic. The YCH organized a fun fair meant for the children who have to be put on cancer drip in particular, and more than 500 participants, including outside children and their parents apart from the children of suffering cancer, took part in the enjoyable event. Dr. Doi Kai, professor of Hemato-Oncology Unit, Yangon Children's Hospital, said,
We would like to see children patients feel happy in particular. This event is also aimed at giving the public the messages. There is a childhood cancer ward in the hospital. There are occurrences of childhood cancer. There are a lot of generous donors, and there is an increasing number of donors year on year. It is also intended all donors to boost willingness and generosity in the charity and render assistance in the future.
A variety of different games, including coloring animal pictures, were also showcased together with the lucky draw during the event, and these plans were to make the children with cancer and outside ones coming to the hospital feel blissful. During the fun fair, the children with cancer sang songs themselves. Country famous singers and artists, youth associations, and 55 donor organizations laid on entertainments for the children in addition to the donations. So Po Kwa, a popular reggae singer and a former national footballer, said,
I give the support for the children, cheering children, you stay happy, and the world fairly welcomes everyone. More importantly, you need to stay happy. Children, you show disappointments when you go to see a doctor at the hospital and when you're injected. These are difficult moments for us. Shortly after, you will have a wonderful time. Children, you will have to be able to resist the difficult moment for a while, and the world is like so. I give the children moral support like this. We have to take much fitness from them.
The state is making payment for 70% cost of the cancer drugs in giving childhood cancer patients medical treatment at Hemato-Oncology Unit of Yangon Children's Hospital. Local and foreign donors are helping with the payment for the remaining 20 or 30% cost of cancer drugs. The parents of childhood cancer patients needn't make payment for cancer drugs on account of such generous donations. One of the aims of holding the fun fair is to give certificates of honor to the donors. U Lin Koko, father of one of the childhood cancer patients, said,
Anyhow, the creation of organizing the fun fair in time of disappointments brings some kind of fun to parents as well as children. Medical treatment for the children at this hospital is a success. The children who return to recovery are pretty a lot. My child has developed a lot so far.
There are 8 types of leukemia occurring among children. There are also 12 types of tumor cancers. The YCH helping is achieving a 30 to 70% success according to type of cancer and its level. There are 2 hemato-oncology units in Myanmar, and one is in Yangon region and another in Mandalay region. The new extended building of Yangon Children's Hospital, whose Funfair was commissioned into service in 2013, and now it has turned 16 years. There has been an increase in the number of childhood cancer patients receiving medical treatment at hemato-oncology unit of new extended building of Yangon Children's Hospital year after year. The hospital is providing cancer treatment, joining hands with the World Health Organization, World Child Cancer, St. Jude Children's Hospital, Childhood Cancer International, Boston's Children's Hospital, and World Federation of Hemophilia. Furthermore, the hospital is developing onco-nutrition program and hero school program in partnership with international organizations.
That's a report on the 16th Funfair intended for children with cancer. And now we have an information on currency rates from Myanmar Central Bank. $1 is at 1,496 kyats. 1 Chinese renminbi is at 213 kyats. 1 euro is at 1,659 kyats. 1 pound sterling is at 1,950 kyats. 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,103 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 361 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 49 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 21 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,488. Silver is at $17. And Brent crude oil is at $60. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI went up 500 and it's at 11,500. MTSH is at 3,800. MCB remains at 8,200. FPB is at 22,500. TMH remains at 2,900. You're with MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can log on to our website at miradio.com.mm and catch many other great programs of MI Radio on the website. We're also running on 96.1 FM in Yangon, 96.5 in Mandalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. Alternatively, you can download our app on both iOS and Android platforms. It's easy to search. Just type in Myanmar INTL Radio and you'll find the app. Download it on your devices so you can listen to our radio programs on the go. Well, that's all the reports we have on Myanmar Today, which gives us more time for international news. So let's see what's happening around the world. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell sparred on Monday over the ground rules for President Donald Trump's trial in the Senate on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Pelosi, the Speaker of the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives, said she is not yet ready to name her team for Trump's trial in the Republican-majority Senate. House managers will prosecute the case against Trump in the Senate in a trial expected to begin in January. Trump's Republicans have a 53-47 seat edge in the chamber. Pelosi has not yet sent the impeachment articles passed by the House last week over to the Senate amid a standoff with McConnell over the form the trial will take. Democrats have been pushing for 4 current and former White House aides with direct knowledge of Trump's Ukraine dealings to testify in the Senate. Trump blocked all 4 from testifying in the House. Democrats believe their appearances would bolster the case for conviction in the Senate, where a 2/3 majority is needed to remove the president from office.
Article 1 is adopted.
Just hours after Democratic-ruled House voted to impeach U.S. President Donald Trump, the Republican came out fighting.
Over the last 12 weeks, House Democrats
charges abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The Senate will now have to hold a trial to decide whether the president should be removed from power. McConnell said last week that Republican senators would act in total coordination with the president's team during the trial, prompting a quick response by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Our founders, when they wrote the Constitution, they suspected that there could be a rogue president. I don't think they suspected that we could have a rogue president.
To delay sending the articles of impeachment until Democrats are convinced a fair trial will be held in the Senate. This could put off the trial for an indefinite period, and that is why Republicans and Democrats have to negotiate a deal. They will deliberate on what constitutes a fair trial, partly because the senators expected to sit on the jury are required by the Constitution to be impartial. The two sides will also have to agree on what evidence is admissible. As for Trump, he's still defiant.
What does it feel like to be the third president in U.S. history to be impeached?
Well, I don't feel like I'm being impeached because it's a hoax, it's a setup, it's a horrible thing they did.
While Republicans voted unanimously against impeachment, cracks appeared in the Democratic Party. Moderate Democrat Jeff Van Joel voted against both articles of impeachment and joined the Republican Party a day later.
I have a bipartisan wall that has a lot of different people on there. Ronald Reagan, and when he said, I didn't leave my party, my party left me.
That's true, that's what he said.
And Trump felt very confident about how the proceedings would go in a Republican-controlled Senate.
We had a totally unified party. I don't think there's ever been a time where the Republican Party was so united.
So, what is next for Trump and the impeachment process, and what are the chances the Democrats can win?
So, what is presidential impeachment, and what is the process for it in the U.S.? Impeachment is a constitutional process, and the Constitution has clearly laid out the whole procedure. But the first step is done already. The lower house of the legislative branch, the House of Representatives, bring charges against a civil officer in government. Now we can say the president has been impeached. But impeachment does not necessarily mean removal from office. The case would then go to the Senate. The Senate holds a trial with the Chief Justice. 67 senators would have to vote to remove Trump. But Republicans had a 53 to 47 advantage. So in order to remove Trump, at least 20 senators from his party have to flip. If convicted, the defendant is immediately removed from office. In this hypothetical scenario, Vice President Mike Pence would become president. But the American public still remains sharply divided on Trump's impeachment. But a Reuters Ipsos opinion poll says less than half of all Americans say President Trump would be removed from office following his impeachment. And 43% said they are happy with the House's handling of Trump's impeachment. 42% disapprove. And when asked about their feelings about the president after impeachment, 26% said they are more supportive of Trump, while 20% said they're less supportive. 48% said it had not changed their view of the president. Said they are more supportive of Trump, while 20% said they're less supportive. 48% said it had not changed their view of the president.
In other news, global aviation reached a milestone of sorts on 24th of July this year, when more than 225,000 aircraft took to the skies, the greatest number of flights ever recorded on a single day. Flight Radar 24, a real-time tracking service, said it included passenger and cargo flights, chartered jets, sightseeing planes, personal aircraft, helicopters, and gliders. While one could marvel at the mind-boggling figure and the sophistication of 21st century air traffic control, it also lays bare a rather disturbing trend: rising aviation emissions. Aircraft contrails crisscrossing the blue sky are a sight one pays scant attention to, but there's a growing awareness of the impact these have on the environment.
We are bringing zero emissions technology to commercial aviation. We already started that journey in 2015 when we flew the original EFAN 1.0 across the English Channel. That aircraft had a 60 kilowatt electric propulsion system. What you see behind me is the EFAN X. That aircraft has a 2 megawatt electric propulsion system on board and is really shaping what will be the future electric propulsion system architectures that we plan to bring to commercial aircraft in the 2030s. Our ambition is to significantly reduce the CO2 emissions of our products, and this aircraft, this demonstration platform, is a key part to making that happen.
So I'm inside the RJ100 that's going to become the final EFAN-X aircraft. And what you can see here is we've stripped out the entire cabin and fitted in what you see here, water ballast tanks. So why did we do this? We wanted to fill the cabin with the representative weight of what the final hybrid electric systems will weigh when we finally modify the EFAN-X. So all of these tanks represent the weight and the center of gravity of the systems like the battery packs, the power generation source, which will be to the rear of the cabin, as well as the equipment like our inverter and rectifier to change the voltages of the electrical transmission. Other aspects, we're looking at fitting really high voltage systems, so a 3000 volt electric system, the highest voltage system to ever fly on an aircraft. And we're looking at fitting these cables to go electric motor, which is in that nacelle out in the wing. Now this electric motor is 2 megawatts in power, roughly the size of 10 medium-sized cars. And it will be what we test ultimately on EFAN-X to understand how to control it in flight and how to power it, whether from the battery packs or the power generation source or a combination of the two. So situated behind the cockpit, and what we have here is a flight test engineers station. This is where flight test engineers from Airbus will sit during flight testing of the EFAN-X and gather all the data and parameters associated with the performance and systems performance of the aircraft, as well as the data coming from all the hybrid electric systems on board. And it's this data that's going to be really key for our learning to understand how to design new aircraft of the future, how to control these systems in a safe and reliable way for how to design new aircraft of the future, how to control these systems in a safe and reliable way for future aircraft.
Motorola has announced that it is delaying the launch of the new Razr, an updated version of its 2005 hit clamshell phone, which boasts a vertical folding screen. The device, with a launch price of $1,500, was due to begin shipping in the US on December 26th. Parent company Lenovo blamed the Razr's popularity, saying that demand had outstripped supply. But it's yet another example of a folding phone with teething problems. Motorola said it does not think the time delay will be significant, but has not yet revealed a new date. When the BBC's Chris Fox tried out a prototype of the Razr, he identified a few issues with the hardware, not least the way in which the screen detached from the device when folded. A study has suggested the amount of food needed to feed the world's population by the end of the century could increase by almost 80%. Researchers from Germany said a trend of increasing body mass index (BMI) is resulting in individuals requiring more calories. The authors warned that failure to meet the need for more calories could lead to greater global inequality. The findings have been published in the journal PLOS ONE. The study, carried out by a team from the University of Göttingen, calculated that 60% of the calorie increase would be a result of the growing number of people in the world. According to the UN World Population Prospects, the global population was estimated to increase from almost 7 billion in 2010 to almost 11 billion in 2100. Yet, more than 18% of the increase in the calories from 2010 levels would come from a projected increase in height and weight figures in the global population. And that's a wrap on today's Myanmar Today. Thanks for joining me. I'm Henry Zin. See you again.